terms of the stats that we have, the key to know is that our average review rating is 4 out of 5 bubbles. So the rating itself and the review itself in general is very positive. So know that the power, I guess, of what TripAdvisor can do for your businesses is a positive message that can be distributed through social media and online review sites. Word of mouth, it's so powerful. But in this day and age, we know word of mouth as social media, Facebook, Instagram, however you want, and user review content sites like TripAdvisor, Dimmy, etc. So the power of word of mouth all of a sudden has been amplified and can very quickly, word of mouth obviously is stuck to the engagement party, but then when it goes online, it can kind of go viral across, countries and cities globally very, very quickly. Generally, they're reviewing positively. They want to be heard, they want to share, they want to kind of contribute to the next person to show them that they're going to have a great experience. But then you've got the psychology of why someone writes a not so good review. So you've got good reviews, not so good reviews, and I guess you as business owners are taking that, your reaction to those reviews is happy or not so happy. So there's always going to be that kind of balance and happy medium, and we want people's true experiences. We can talk about, a bit later about whether that's really their true experience that you felt they had in your business. But, out of the 280 contributions that we have on TripAdvisor every single minute, the majority of it is positive, and people want to be recognised for those positive reviews.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's interesting too when you look at the difference between prompted reviews and unprompted reviews. Like you were saying, you usually get like a great experience or a bad experience needs to happen to trigger the review, and it's that extreme emotion that gets you to go online and actually take an action. I think if the stats say roughly 1 in 50 people will place a review if there's no prompt. But if there is a prompt, it's closer to 1 in 3 or 1 in 4.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, people do want to have a voice, and people do want to say kind of what their experience was. And I think most of the studies show that a majority of people actually want to help you run a better business, and they want to help you find out about how their experience was. Most people are pretty cluey to the fact that you're not there 24/7. You don't see every interaction with a table. So a majority of the reviews are there to help restaurant owners.
And wrote it. That's their perception and that's their reality. So I think you have to, unfortunately, because it's very time consuming, sometimes you do have to do the courtesy of responding to that. So we started to respond to everything, everywhere. It's very time consuming, and we noticed an immediate increase in our business. So that was a really interesting thing to happen.
There was a study of 12,000 users on TripAdvisor that suggested 86% of respondents in this survey were more inclined to try out the business as long as the business had responded to a not so great review. So you do have the power to turn around, 86 out of 100 users looking at TripAdvisor, looking at your product, looking at your service. You can influence them, and it's really important that you do respond to everything. And in some of these ways, and TripAdvisor has the management centre that hopefully you all engage with on a regular basis to respond, and then the TripAdvisor Insights pages for tips and tricks and everything. So I can help you get to that if you're looking for some more guidance and help on how to respond, best practices, tools, etc.
I think it's important that you just have to reply. People just want to be heard, and I think we're all pretty aligned on the fact that you write your reply for the people that are reading it. I mean, we don't see many restaurants reply to reviews at all. I'd be shocked to see if more than 50% of restaurants even look at their reviews. And it's not usually something that anyone looks at until you hear about a horrendous one from a staff member who managed to find it online. So yeah, I definitely would say respond. Dimmy cops bad reviews as well, surprisingly. But we try, like if you go on the Facebook page, you'll see some customers are unhappy. They do have a bad experience. And there's nothing you can do about it other than just respond politely for people that are reading it. Try and turn the customer, because it's obviously goal number 1. But number 2, just make sure that you learn from it and you try and fix the problem.
We use it as a really good training tool for new people who are starting in our office. I was saying this backstage. So if we have someone new that is starting we have a centralised office, and we'll give them feedback to deal with. So thankfully, most of the feedback is just a thank you, grazie, and that's a response to a positive review. But if something is negative or constructive, then that new person in our office then is charged with finding out what happened. So they're forced to look at the venue, talk to the manager, talk to the chef, look at the menu, see what happened, and then formulate a kind of response based on how they think that our business should be handling that. And it's actually been a really valuable training course as such into our group, because it makes them go out and learn what is it that we're doing, what is it that we're trying to do, and how do they then communicate that to a guest.
Yeah.
And you know, because it's different when you're front of house, you're dealing with the customer, you're looking them in the eye, you're touching, feeling, smiling, you know, whereas there's that whole part of hospitality that people forget, which is the office side as well, you know, and it's sometimes a little bit harder to feel what you're trying to do.
Two things I would never do in replying to a review is, one, I wouldn't turn it into a war. Like, don't ever try and prove a customer wrong online. You just, whether you're right or you're wrong, you're going to look wrong.
Perception is reality.
Yeah, exactly.
They're always going to be right, even if they're not.
Yeah, 100%. And two, don't ever post compensation in a review reply. Like, because you'll start to find that people are there are people out there that are just going to complain, write a bad review just to get a discount. So you can take it offline, say, apologise for the experience, say, like, feel free to contact, just give us a call and we can discuss it. And then, absolutely awesome opportunity to fix it up.
The people who have a serious grievance will actually send that email with the detail. Because most people, if they post a negative review, it's because they actually really want you to know. They're actually directing it at you, the restaurant. They're not directing it at the readership.
No.
So it's an interesting, you know, goal for them, because then when you take the time to get back to them and say, please tell me a bit more detail, they want to tell you more detail. What you're looking for when you're looking at reviews and online feedback and that sort of thing is trends. So if you're taking, 100, you know, online comments a day, whether it be through Facebook or TripAdvisor or Dimmy or email or whatever, we compile all that into a spreadsheet so we can see what's going on. And now if you get 10 reviews in 1 week that say the fish was salty, the fish was salty, the fish was salty, guess what, guys? Sorry, chef, but the fish is freaking salty.
One thing I did want to mention is you're in a really unique situation. Unlike the hotel space, and you know, we have over 10 million users in Australia and New Zealand every month using TripAdvisor in some way, shape or form, whether that's hotels, attractions or restaurants. So you're sitting, like Anna said before, you're like face to face with your guest, and you have time to build that relationship, build the rapport, ask them how their evening's going, was everything satisfactory tonight? If so, we'd love to hear it on TripAdvisor. So use that time and empower your staff to own your product, own your brand, and try and instill that in everyone. I mean, I know it's difficult. You've got staff coming and going. Sometimes they're traveling, they're transient in the industry in terms of wait staff. But it's important to try and instill your brand and values across every facet of your business so that the user at the end of the day gets that good experience. We obviously take fraudulent reviews extremely seriously. We have a team of 300 staff in the US that work 24/7 to follow up on anything that our algorithm doesn't detect, or that does detect, that flags out. Then we have this team that will follow through on everything. So we're kind of using algorithms that the financial industry uses to monitor the trends of who, when, where, how. You know, if you're getting multiple reviews from a restaurant that's across the street on your particular restaurant, well, we're going to catch that out. So be confident that we have systems in place for that.